Hello, everyone. This is your captain speaking. I apologize for those of you who've been waiting a little while. I'm a little slow to get started this morning, but I'm so happy to be with you all in the first morning Venus gate. This is the first morning Venus gate, Moon conjunct Venus, and yes, we just had Venus's first heliacal rise, it's called, the first time you spot Venus rising over the eastern horizon after disappearing in front of the sun from our view for like 8 days. And before that, Venus, of course, was an evening star. She was our evening companion for quite a few months last year. I think it was about 6, 7 months that we had Venus greeting us every evening after sunset. And now she has emerged in the morning, and I just was out with her this morning. I set my alarm for 5:45, I believe, and I just was awake earlier, and so I went out earlier. I think I was out there by 5:45 or 6, just because I wanted to see Venus rise, and so yes, I just had a magical morning of sky watching, and I guess I want to encourage you all to get out tomorrow morning, Sunday morning. Uh, Whenever you happen to see this, you may get to see it after this, but it'll still be happening, and you can still commune with it whenever you happen to see this video. But yes, this morning it was a Moon, Venus, Mars triple conjunction, and I have it here on the screen. Sky now. So you can see over in the right upper quadrant the Moon, Venus, Mars triple conjunction, all in the sign Capricorn. Venus has been reborn in the morning sky, and today and tomorrow the Moon is with her and Mars. We're getting a Venus-Mars conjunction, and I'll have a lot to say about that. But what do I want to begin with? What do I want to begin with? I want to say hi to everybody that's out there. Josh and Raven and whoever else is joining. Thank you. It's nice to have a co-creative intersubjective field to work with. It's like whoever's out there paying attention either live or on the recording, we are drawing forth whatever's being shared here and communicated, and where there's questions, it's all going to co-create this time this morning. And my approach to this is going to be to follow the flow. I've got some notes. I've got some notes to go through. I want to give you a sense of what's happening in the next 3 months or so. I'm going to talk about February, March, April, and May. I guess 4 months. I'm going to try to just do an overview of some really important dates to put on your calendar. And these are dates for gates. Dates for Moon, Venus gates, or they're sometimes called the rose gates, or just Venus gates is the most common way of referring to them. So we're going to look at the dates for the Venus gates of the next 4 months, and we're going to look at the dates for the Jupiter gates when the Moon conjoins Jupiter each month. And there's a period where they overlap at the end of April. And I want us to all just kind of focus on that date. We're talking about April 26th and 27th, especially the 27th. But really, we're talking about a couple weeks before, a couple weeks after, a month before, a month after, because what's happening there is what I feel is the most special astrological, astronomical event of this century. How can I say such a thing? A very bold statement. The most delicious, the most yummy, the most healing astrological alignment of the 21st century. And I'm referring to a quadruple conjunction of the moon and Venus, that's the Venus gate, the moon and Jupiter, that's the Jupiter gate, with Neptune. So it's a moon, Venus, Jupiter, Neptune quadruple conjunction, April 26th and 27th. And let's just all start aiming for that date, because there's a warm, yummy, healing wave of waters, healing, warm waters that is flowing towards us right now with our Jupiter-Neptune conjunction year. Basically, from February of 2021 to February of 2022, we have a Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces. Jupiter-Neptune conjunctions only happen every 13 years. And so super special. I mean, that's rare. Think back 13 years to the last Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, which was basically February of 2009 to February of 2010. Really useful to tune into that last Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. Jupiter-Neptune conjunctions are about finding your big vision for the next 13 years. They're about a vision quest to see the positive timelines that are possible in your life, the timelines that it takes 13 years to expand out into, and 13 years of strong actions to manifest, and 13 years of growing into your larger vision potential, but where you have to work. You have to work at it to build and manifest that big vision that you're coming into, but you do it patiently and slowly and with self-love and self-kindness. And so how are you going to manifest your big vision of the next 13 years with loving kindness towards yourself and others? Well, the best times to practice loving kindness with yourself and others, to ritualize it and set a monthly intention to live in loving kindness with yourself, that's the Venus gates. And the times where we're meant to have intimacy with Jupiter each month, the moon-Jupiter conjunctions, these are the moments where you're able to meditate on expansion and growth and seeing the big picture. And so 2022, did I say 2021 earlier? I might be still in 2021, but 2022 to early 2023, February 2022 to February 2023, this is the Jupiter-Neptune year. And there's so many themes that go with these planets together, but it definitely has something to do with healing waters, just healing energy generally, compassion, forgiveness, energies coming in strongly, I feel. Compassion, forgiveness, grace, angelic healing waters. I feel that 2022 is the year of angels coming to us and offering healing compassion after 2 very tough years. My experience with angels is they come when the times are rough. That's their job. They're supposed to show up when times are difficult and bring us healing, soothing waters of reassurance that there's still goodness in the world, and there's still hope, and there's still the possibility of aiming towards more positive timelines where there's more generosity of spirit and, yes, expansive visions of higher moral possibilities for ourselves and others. Many things could be said about this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction year, which will be getting stronger week by week, building as we get towards March. And then in March and April, it's basically getting exact in terms of geometric precision. And so it's like a growing wave that brings its kind of healing waters It's healing heart chakra energies are kind of flowing towards us stronger and stronger in kind of building here. Can you feel the wave pulling us? Can you feel the gentle currents kind of pulling you towards some yummy healing possibilities? That's the Jupiter Neptune Pisces energy, especially as we move into Pisces season. Right now, we're still strongly in Aquarius. We're getting close to mid-Aquarius, which is peak winter, but in a couple weeks, we're starting to get into later winter. That's the Pisces energy. That's when some of the waters start melting and you start flowing towards spring. And so I think we're just starting to kind of feel that Pisces energy coming in, but the Jupiter-Neptune is stronger and it's going to dominate this year. So we're kind of feeling that Pisces energy earlier than we might ordinarily. And so, yes, can you feel yourself melting towards some more positive shores, some tropical islands and warm breezes? Can you feel that? Can you feel yourself being pulled on some kind of sacred pilgrimage towards some kind of big vision quest where you get a vision of some higher potential for yourself and the world, and you start to feel hope again? If you haven't been feeling hopeful, this is a kind of year for hope being renewed. It's a kind of year where you kind of fill up your, what's the right metaphor? You fill your well of water for the coming 13 years. So like overflowing, healing waters that you start to, yeah, it's like you take in this resource of positivity, and then it's like, how are you going to invest this incredible resource of healing waters over the coming years? Because I think that's what we're doing, at least in part. And so, yes, as we get into April, that's when, well, it's just a sequence of activations of this Jupiter-Neptune. And I'm going to try to give you an outline with the dates. And yes, it's like we're moving towards, like every month, the moon crosses Jupiter and Neptune. And as they get closer, it's like as they get closer in March and April, it's like the moon is activating them both really strongly simultaneously. And so we'll look at that, and we'll look at how the Venus-Neptune starts to really come in strong in April, and that's when things get really yummy. And so with that intro, what else do I want to say here? I know I just want to say something about this channel, and I want to thank you all, those of you who are live now, of course, but also anyone out there that happens to see this. And if you're enjoying this channel and you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And if you can hit that like button, that really helps me out. It boosts the algorithm and more people get to hear this positive message about the positive possibilities of 2022. And so, yes, this is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard my starship if you're new here. And I guess, I want to thank all of you for traveling on this starship with me. And I just want to take a moment to reflect on where we are in time space together. I feel like this channel started to kind of move in a new direction 3 years ago, early in 2019. And there was a point where I invited us into a heart chakra portal, and I invited us all to look out in the morning sky to see what was happening, a moon, Mercury, Venus, Neptune, quadruple conjunction. It was a morning Venus gate with Mercury and Neptune, a really yummy heart chakra energy. And I invited us all to kind of meditate on heart chakra consciousness. And I feel like we as a group on this YouTube channel, we're kind of intentionally exploring heart chakra consciousness and trying to manifest it in our lives and share it with other people. I think that's the kind of collective thought form I'm working with here on this channel, and I invite you to join me in these positive thought forms that we can then manifest and share with others. My sense is if a few hundred of us are kind of focusing on these thought forms and trying to manifest them in our lives this year, maybe it'll kind of ripple out, and other heart minds will open and more will get on this heart ship, this starship of love, this love starship, the starship love. Is that what this is? Maybe. I'm not sure yet. I'm still discovering the name of the starship. I'm open to suggestions. What would you call this starship that I'm trying to captain the best that I can? And yes, so thank you for joining me. We've been continuing in the fall of 2019. We focused a lot on a Venus-Mars conjunction, called it a dance party portal, amazing Sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury. It was an amazing 6-planet conjunction that I think was in August, September 2019. And then we went into 2020 and we started to really focus on some Jupiter gates. We were looking a lot at the Moon, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunctions that were happening that year with the Dragon Rider portal that we talked about, that incredibly rare once in a century alignment. We traveled through that together and moved through that first year of the pandemic together. And then last year, we focused more on Venus gates, the Moon-Venus conjunctions in the evening sky, especially I was focused on. And I guess I'm saying all this to just name that over the last 3 years, I feel like I've been kind of learning a new approach to astrology and also learning a new approach of how I want to share astrology with others and kind of invite people to, it's like somebody asked me here on this channel, I think it was the last live stream, it was a question about how would you encourage a new student to astrology? Where would you say that it's the best place to begin? What's the best way to start going deeper into astrology? What's the best way to invest more time and energy into an astrological life, an astrological way of living, which we're talking about basically integrating what I like to call sacred astronomy, and other astrologers have called it sacred astronomy. I think I got that from Gemini Brett. But it's like, how do you integrate more intimacy with the sky into your life? That to me is what astrology is all about. How do we have more intimacy with the sky and the cycles and seasons of the lights of the sky, whether that's the seasons of the Earth's relationship with the sun, spring, summer, fall, winter, or the cycles of the relationship of the Earth, the sun, and the moon. The new moon, full moon relationship is one of the best places to start, I think, when it comes to developing more intimacy with the sky, when it comes to starting to learn about astrology and how it can guide us in our lives, how we can receive guidance and live more enjoyable lives through greater intimacy with the sky. I think that's what I'm talking about here. And so, yes, really being aware of the seasonal changes of your life will give you more of an understanding of the signs of astrology. Springtime and Aries, you start to feel into that, and you start to live more in tune with the energies of the seasons and the signs. And then you integrate the new moon, full moon awareness, and I think kind of simultaneously to that, and I almost feel the best place to start is with these Moon-Venus conjunctions, whether they're in the evening sky or the morning sky, bringing more intentionality to seeing what is perhaps the most beautiful astronomical event. When a crescent moon is next to Venus, it is so beautiful and it's so reliable to see it. It's like for 7 months at a time, every month, she's either in the evening sky with the moon, or as she is today and tomorrow, she's in the morning sky with the moon. And so it's like this opportunity to live your life in greater awareness with the seasons of Venus through paying attention to the conjunctions of the moon with Venus. By being aware of the 7 evening moon-Venus conjunctions and kind of, setting the intention to spend some time looking at them once a month. This is how I think you start to integrate more of what astrology is ultimately about. I feel it's about direct communion with the sky, where you pray to the lights in the sky, whether you pray to the sun, you pray to the moon, you pray to a moon-Venus conjunction or a moon-Jupiter conjunction. You pray, you kind of extend yourself out to the moon-Venus conjunction with your eyes and your heart. You extend yourself and you kind of are available for guidance or some kind of pleasure or some kind of just enjoyment that comes from getting up early and kind of go into a nice spot to watch the eastern horizon, where you will see right now, tomorrow morning, a moon, Venus, Mars triple conjunction, goddess willing. The weather hopefully will be clear. Here in San Francisco this morning, the weather was kind of hazy and I wasn't sure what I was going to see, but wow, it was one of the most special sky watching, sky praying, sky meditation trips of my life. By trip, I mean the trip up my hill to look at the eastern horizon and to see the moon and Venus. Like, what was kind of weird was the moon was below Venus, but in terms of where it is in degrees, it's actually before Venus. It's like, we can see it here on the chart. You can see that the moon is at 6 degrees Capricorn and Venus is at 11. And that should make, it should have made Venus below the moon, but it was actually above. And so I think this has something to do with Venus's declination from the ecliptic and the season that this is all happening. Not totally sure. Maybe there's an astronomer out there that can help me understand, but what is my point here? I'm just saying I had such a special morning, just getting up early, walking up the hill, and it was just like an hour and a half I was out there, and it was like the crescent moon came in and out of the haze, and Venus was like, what I saw first was her beauty just kind of piercing through the haze more than the crescent moon at first. And I just sat with them and I just kind of felt into the energy, and I could feel how the moon was welcoming me into deeper intimacy with the sky and deeper intimacy with Venus. And I've had this kind of image with the Venus gates idea, the idea of a gate. It's sort of like the moon opens the gate to this amazing home where you're invited in for tea with Venus, and it's like 3 really yummy friends enjoying each other's company and sharing stories, and it's ultimately just about the feeling of friends coming together. I think that's what Moon Venus is about. It's the feeling of friends coming together. It's like your own friendship with the sky, your own friendship with these individual planets. It's like, that's what I think astrology is about, developing these yummy friendships with the planets, with the stars, with the sun and the moon. And I really felt it this morning. Mars wasn't visible. It was too hazy for me to see Mars. I'm sure some of you have seen Mars this morning or tomorrow in spite of, in spite of the weather. You can still see Mars sometimes if the clouds part at the right time, but I didn't get to see Mars. And so it was an interesting, unique moment of, even though Mars was there, it's like the moon and Venus became foreground. And yeah, it was just so lovely. So yes, it's a time for intimacy with the morning sky and a kind of meditation on what is intimacy with the morning sky and what are the gifts and guidance and pleasures of the morning sky versus intimacy with the evening sky, which we've just enjoyed a lot of intimacy with the evening sky with Venus and her beauty just there for so many months last year. And so, yes, there's one more Moon-Jupiter conjunction in the evening sky on February 2nd. And that's kind of a special moment to connect with Jupiter in the evening sky before Jupiter becomes invisible for, it's like 6 weeks or so. We won't be able to see Jupiter until Jupiter emerges in the morning sky. And then everybody's going to be in the morning sky, and there's not going to be any planets in the evening sky. We'll, of course, get the moon and the moon in the evening sky and the sun in the evening sky at sunset, but there's going to be so much to connect with in the morning sky. So I just really want to encourage all of you to be willing, if you're not a morning person, which I'm sure many of you are not necessarily the type of person that likes to get up an hour and a half before sunrise. And sometimes that's challenging to do. But I think the call of the morning sky is saying, basically, are you willing to come out once a month and be with me? Are you willing once a month to come out and connect with me, morning sky? Because I'd love to see you at least once a month. And this moon Venus morning sky, these Venus gates, just once a month, get out for the Venus gate and connect with the morning sky. And you're going to also, in the morning sky, be able to see Jupiter and Saturn and at certain points Mercury. And so, yes, once a month at the Venus gate, get up early, make a thermos of tea, and I would say have your bag packed the evening before. And yes, camera to take photos. It's really nice to take some morning photos. You either get the sunrise or you can I got some nice pictures this morning of the moon and Venus. It's lovely to have that kind of memory with the photo. And it's like you have all your gear packed, and yeah, and you get up with enough time. You really want to be the place where you're going to commune with the Venus gate an hour before sunrise. And, I think she's available to be seen about an hour and a half before sunrise, or I think it's an hour and a half before sunrise. So if you get where you're going an hour and a half before sunrise, you get to see her rise, and you get to spend an hour and a half before the sunrise just being with that particular time of day, where it can go from total darkness to what's called blue hour, where the light starts growing, and there's different things that start to happen in terms of watching Venus, like you get certain kinds of photos, and with the colors in the sky starting to come out, it's like there's a kind of beauty to it all. And yes, an hour and a half a month. Is that so much to ask to add more intimacy with the sky? And it's like you go out, you pray, and then you're just receptive. It's kind of like praying is talking to the sky, and then listening is meditation. Prayer and meditation with the sky. That's what we're talking about. And so, yes, I want to invite you all on a journey deeper into the heart chakra portal. This year, it's going to be bigger than ever, and the possibilities for really amazing healing of your heart, really amazing possibilities for love, romance, like such big heart openings that your love frequency attracts the heart frequency of someone else whose big heart is opening. And so I really encourage you to have a partner, a friend, a buddy who you try to get out and see these Venus gates with. Once a month, you and your Venus buddy get to go out and be with the Moon-Venus conjunction and the rest of the awesome stuff that's happening this month. So start to figure out who your Venus buddy is, and then I'm going to tell you the dates, and you just put it on your calendar, and you set your intention, and you're going to get to see these really beautiful alignments. And so, yes, now we're going to go into a little more detail, and I'll have some more things to say, and I'll be open to some questions, and we're going to have some fun here. Okay? And so thank you. I'm going to pause now, hydrate, see what's happening in the chat, and thank you. All right. Blessings, blessings, love, light. Blessings, love, light.